What's up, nerds? So let's go ahead and turn a simple black and white alpha into this decal. We're going to turn a black and white alpha into a decal that has an outline and a highlight. So that's our highlight. Here's our outline. That's going to be what the decal looks like without any of that stuff. So I've painted on my decal, and um, let's go ahead and I want to show you something real quick along with this. So let's delete our decal, our highlight, and our outline. So with my alphas, um, I've created I drew these out in Photoshop. You can download your alphas, whatever, however you want to get your alphas. But I also moved them to the edge, and the reason I did that is if I'm going to be working, excuse me, in symmetry, I want to have them on the edge so I can paint down the center. Otherwise, you'll get this funny overlapping stuff. So let's go ahead and make a fill layer. We are going to add a black mask. We are going to right click and add a paint layer. And in that paint layer, we can drop our stencil. That's going to be at the bottom of the stack. If you're all the way at the top, just go down in the paint layer. Right here is where we add our stencil. So I'm going to drag and drop this guy. This is the half one. And it looks like I've already been editing my stencil. I'll hold down S, middle mouse drag to move it, left mouse click to rotate. If I let go of S, now I can move my mesh. So I'm going to move my mesh, get something like that. If I hold S and right click, I can scale. So let's do that. So now you can see, since I have my alpha on this halfway mark, it's making it so I can work with my symmetry line very friendly. I'm going to just bump up my brush size so I can get this all done nice and quick. So there we go. That makes it a lot easier. I'll just delete this paint layer real quick, and let's drag in the full mesh. Now, if I move this on the center line and try and draw it out, I'm going to see how it's giving me this overlap. It's doubling over itself. So it just causes a lot of problems. All right, so let's go ahead and again add a paint layer, drop in that half stencil, hold S, middle mouse drag over to, feels like I'm going a little fast. I'm just trying to do a bit of a quick and easy tutorial. So there we go. Let's go ahead and do one on the front too. Again, holding S. I'm gonna scale this guy down a little bit. Just a nice little one right there. There we go. And we'll do a nice one on the side. Let's grab this big guy. Hold S, right click to scale it up. I like the way that this is wrapping right here. And I kind of like that there's this piece up here too. I think it's just gonna look kind of cool. So we're just drawing it out. I'm gonna paint some of this back away too, okay? So that's good. And then I kind of want uh, this horn going up the front. I think it looks kind of cool. Like, let's say right here. Yeah, so let's do something like that. That looks pretty cool. If I click on the stencil, it'll delete it now. So that looks pretty cool to me. Okay, so I need to clean up some of this stuff. This is the leftover from the edge of the alpha, and then I want to get rid of this. Is where the visor would be. So I'm going to get rid of that decal around where the visor would be. So I can add another paint layer if I want. I could paint through this one. I will add another paint layer. I kind of like working in extra layers just so it's, non-destructive. If I do anything to this layer, also I set my paint level to black, so I'm painting away now. And we're just going to paint away around this edge. I'm using a hard brush too. If you can see, I like the way, especially when we're working with something that we want to look like a decal. I like the hard brush. Something like that. Oh yeah, let's paint away this. And there we go. Okay. Now let's start adding um, our effects. So I'm going to change the color of my layer to something red. I like that. That looks nice. All right, so let's go ahead and do the highlight on the inside. I'm going to go ahead and create another fill. Oh, excuse me. One thing we do want to do is add an anchor point, so we'll just be referencing this mask. So I'm right-clicking on the mask, I'm saying add anchor point, and it's going to be to the top of the stack. So now I can reference this, and let's just call this decal mask. I could call it decal mask anchor to be a little more. All right, decal mask anchor. There we go. And on the fill layer, I'm going to add a black mask. I'm going to right click and I'm going to add a fill. Okay, and then I'm going to click this grayscale right here and I can go to anchor points and grab my anchor point. So now we're just using the exact same mask. But the beautiful thing about this is we can add filters on top of this mask and then multiply down through. Okay, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to right click my mask and say add a filter. We'll go over to our filter tab right here. And the first one we want to do is a high pass. So I'm going to drag high pass into my filter. I'm going to hit Alt and left click on my mask just to see what's going on. And now you can see we've kind of got this highlighted area. Well, the issue is that this mask, since anything gray is kind of 50% showing up, the mask is all over, is covering my entire mesh right now. All right, so I just want to affect this interior edge. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and right click and we're going to add a levels. And we're going to bring this down so that my mid value is pretty dark. Okay. Now I can bring it all the way, but my issue if I bring it all the way is I like this kind of fade right here. Okay. So what we're going to do now is all I need to do is just hit Control G. And then now I've grouped that mask. And so I can just add another black mask and we'll right click and add a fill. And now I can just reference my anchor point again and I've gotten rid of the entire outline. So now it's only an interior kind of highlight, right? Which I think looks great. So now we can show our red, and this kind of white on red doesn't look too good. So I can grab my color picker and I can color pick that red value and then just make it a little bit lighter, something like that. And I can get a little bit darker too and kind of get it to fit that a little bit better. All right. I mean, I could go an entirely different color too. It does not matter too much. So let's grab that red again. Yeah, kind of like the saturated. Well, let's desaturate it just a little bit. Okay, that's working for me. Another thing, I mean, with these layers, I would usually, since it's supposed to be a decal, I would only be affecting my color on this. At least with these extra layers. Then you can kind of reference the bottom layer for all of your roughness and metallic and all that. Yeah, see, I can make this metal if I want. All right, so let's go ahead and do our outline now. This is and I should be naming these. I should name this decal light. I can name it light interior. I'll just do light inner. This is decal base, and now let's do an outline. So I'll click on the light inner, and let's just create a new fill layer that's going to pop in above that, and we'll call this decal outline. do the same thing. I'm going to add a black mask. I'm going to add a fill layer to that black mask. I'm going to reference our anchor point, right? And now we want to do the same thing. We want to use a filter. So I'm going to right click my decal outline. I'm going to say add filter. And this one's great. We've got mask outline in our filters. So I can do that, and it's looking a little bit funky. Don't really love that. But I can turn my curve shape all the way to 1, so that's going to kind of solidify it. I want to say start from black is false. So if I click that again, you'll see there's kind of this where the mask is not affecting the edge. I want it to affect the edge, so I'm going to say true on that start from black. Also, on that interior glow thing, I can actually use this mask outline to do an interior glow too, and it does a pretty darn good job. So I'm not going to do that though. We're going to go ahead and set the mask position to outside, and I've got my width at 0.02. I'm going to say 0.015. Yeah, I like that. And we can turn our color to black already. I mean, the great thing about this is, at any point you can change these, since they're all, they're all their own fill, and you're using the mask, so you can change the colors at any point. But that looks pretty awesome, just for using a black and white mask. For us to be able to turn it into this very illustrative looking decal is super, super useful. Okay, I use this a lot when I'm doing designs like this on backpacks or helmets or anything like that, where I want to do a really cool looking kind of illustrative decal. All right, so that is pretty much it. I don't like that this outline's really blurry, so I'm going to add one more filter, and then we're going to call it a day. So on my outline, I'm going to right click that mask again. We're going to add another filter, and this histogram allows me to really clamp down those black and white values. So I can just turn it up, and you'll see now that's a really crispy, nice outline that looks like it was inked by an artist. All right, so we've got this great looking decal with these inked outlines, a cool looking, there's an interior glow that we got from our high pass. So it just adds an element of illustrative look to it without you having to do all that extra brush work in Photoshop. All right, I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If you'd like to help me out, I've got a Patreon. I'm going to link that in the description. I've also got a Buy Me a Coffee. If you can't do either of those, liking and subscribing is also a huge help for me. And this helmet is a part of a helmet pack that I am selling on the Unreal Marketplace. So you can also go, I'll post the link for that. If you'd like to buy these helmets, there's a dirt bike helmet and a bunch of different motorcycle helmets and this racing helmet. This is going to be a tutorial series. So this is the beginning. I'm going to show you how to, in Unreal Engine, how to set up a shader where we can change the colors of these decals to anything we want. So I'm going to show you how to set up a shader, and it's not just decal specific, right? So I'm going to show you how to set up a really cool shader, and we're going to build our mask here in Substance, and then take it over to Unreal, and I'll show you how to make a really cool shader that allows you to change the color of the outline, the color of the decal, all the roughness, metallic, so you can have a shader that with your material instance that allows you to do an incredible amount of variation. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you soon.